Well, trailer's all loaded up. Let's head out. We've got about an hour and 20-minute drive to go pick up a new machine I've never owned before. So I got this thing at auction again. And I got a pretty good deal on it. Let's go take a look at it. Alright, we've got 33 minutes left. Hopefully this machine runs and drives as said it did on the auction site, so I'm hoping we can just drive it right into the trailer and it'll be good to go. It's pretty dirty, it needs to get cleaning, and there's pretty high hours on it, but I still think we got a pretty decent deal. There was one in the auction I really wanted, but it went for way too high. They were worth 12, it went for like 10. So we missed out on that one, but we got this one instead, so we'll see what it looks like. Hopefully it's decent. Of course it's downpouring right now, but we made it here. I think our UTV is right over here. Yeah, look at the gutters. I mean, it's just downpouring. We might wait this out until we can load here. It's just really coming down. This is a pretty big operation over here. Oh man, what a bad day for a pickup. I got a bunch of furniture stuff for Jade as well. Just getting wrecked. But we got this thing all loaded up. Got her strapped down here. So, it's dry in here. Keys off. Alright, I think we're good to go. See if we make it back home here. Well, we made it back home. Of course it stops raining right when we get back home. But we got Jade a couple things, a cool chest, and then a cool drawer chest piece. I guess she thought those were worth a lot. She looked them up. And then she uses them for decoration for the house. But yeah, this is the unit. Oh, there she is. Wanna see what you got?
Yep.
You've been excited for them,
yes,
so.
Very excited.
Let's see.
Wow. Oh, I like that. That's cool. With the splattered paint and stuff.
So that's the
Just
the
needs
chest.
a little TLC, but it's got the dovetail, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's really nice.
Open her up.
Open her up. Can I? Let's see.
Wow, that's old.
That's really nice. Some nice cobwebs.
How old do you
stuff.
think that is?
I don't know.
That's gotta be.
Looks like at least late 18 to early 19, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's
then
pretty
here's
neat.
the other thing.
That's really cool too. I really like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Needs a little TLC, but
Yeah.
otherwise I think
It came with the stuff in the drawers too. I wonder what's in here.
I think if it had some stain and some new paint, you know, I think that would look really cool too. And could you use like a wood putty in those areas where some of the wood is
Yeah, and then you can do something with that.
I mean, it's really cool.
All these individual drawers.
I have one that's like a new one that they made, and Joe has had to move it, I think, 7 times. And it's like the heaviest beast.
This thing is so heavy. We loaded it up with 3 guys. It's not light.
No.
And then what do you think of the new unit here? Take a peek at it. It has heat, so that's going to be awesome.
That's great. Yeah, it's really nice.
It's not too bad.
Be a lot of fun to ride around in.
$3,500. Needs a little TLC as well, but everything from an auction usually does.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the character of it.
But yeah, this one should be pretty fun.
You want character in a vehicle like this, but antiques you definitely want character. You had to show the butter thing.
Oh yeah. This one's got a radio. Windshield pops up. Yeah, it's not too bad. Heat. And there's the button for the heat. It's got quite a few hours on there. 4,478 hours, but these things run forever. There's the radio up there. Seat isn't ripped at all.
That's crazy.
That's surprising.
Yeah, that is surprising.
And here's the parking brake, and then you've got your dump right here. So I'll have to research all the different buttons. A lot of these aren't labeled. Yeah, not too bad.
Good haul, Joe. Good haul.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Another auction haul.
Show the butter churn.
Yeah, let's go take a look.
Mr. Vin will go nuts.
So this we got for $5. This was a good find.
Nobody else wanted it. I don't get it.
Let's take a look. Yeah, right here. So what do these go for?
Like $2.95. He could be quiet. $2.95.
$2.95.
Or
wow.
higher. When I saw it, I thought it was a lot shorter, but this is just as tall, if not taller, to the ones that I was researching on eBay and like Etsy and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
Open it up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yep, so that's the haul.
Good finds, Joe. Good finds.
So now we have to clean this thing up. This is really pretty dirty. Looks like somebody took it mudding. I'm guessing a farmer probably owned it. Look at all the dirt on there.
Yeah. Of course it has to rain today.
Yeah, of course. I don't know what these hooks are for here. That's weird.
Wrap somebody in.
Yeah, weird. And there's a bar down there too. What's that for? Wonder if anything's in the glove
Nice.
compartment here. Let's take a peek. Let's see what's in here. $1 million. Nothing.
Yeah, they're addicting.
So right here, there was supposed to be like a cover for the battery. That's missing. So the battery's just kind of out in the open. One more. No commentary from Jade?
I guess I'm just still in shock from the finds. I tried to start a conversation about Mexican food, but you weren't getting into that too much.
Like I said, I don't know if we have money left.
That's true. If you like Mexican food, go to Charlie's Tacos in Watoma. It's a
Yeah,
great
really
food
good.
truck. Can't recommend them enough. Super friendly, super good food, super clean.
Yeah, really.
Shout out to Charlie's Tacos.
They are pretty good. Alright. Want to come in here? Key is down here. Turn the key on.
Uh-huh.
Brake.
Yep.
Fire it
Look at
up.
that bird. Oh god.
Now you're stuck in here.
Yeah, I feel like there's bats.
Let's see if the
in here.
heat's working.
Ugh.
Parking brake off.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Eeky, deeky, eeky, deeky.
Sounds pretty good. It's obviously a diesel. I think the lever's here, I don't know. Oh, there we go.
Wow. They both work.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much it. These things are supposed to be bulletproof.
Really?
Yep.
It's like the Pulpmobile.
Well, not literally bulletproof. Just the engines are supposed to be like really reliable. Looks like it came with a kit here too. Oil filters, air filter. What's underneath the seat? Does that flip up?
Oh,
Yep. A little bench seat there. What's underneath here? Looks like radiator. I just can't believe how good that seat is. Usually these are all ripped up from
think it would be.
being overly used.
Yeah.
Not sure what this is for either. Has a mirror as well. This thing pops up. Oh, that's nice. Look at that. Yeah, not too bad. For 3,500 bucks, you really can't buy much, so I like it so far.
Yeah, it's really nice.
We'll get some good use out of it. I think the main plan is to haul a bunch of wood for my trails. Yep.
Clean her up.
Clean up the trails. And I'll have to take you guys through the new trail I made.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I took Jade and she seemed to like it.
I did.
Through the woods, the new woods.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Got the hitch on there. Well, first thing we're gonna do is pressure wash this whole thing, and then we'll start working on it. We'll probably take it for the first test drive, see if it goes through all the gears, and see if it moves. It looked like it was puffing out a lot of white smoke, so that's a little bit worrisome. But we'll get it cleaned up, see what it looks like, and then we'll start digging in. This whole thing needs to be cleaned out. Alright, we're going to clean this off in here. All the engine components here. Clean that all off. That is a big engine. Alright, this is a lot cleaner now. I spent an hour, maybe an hour and a half pressure washing everything. You can see how clean everything is. So engine looks good. Frame actually looks really good. Paint on the frame and the paint on the bed looks good. Here's the inside. It's cleaned up pretty good too. So nice and clean in here. Can actually see everything. Not too bad. Floor looks good. So definitely cleaned up good. I'm happy. I was a little worried about that. Things just need a little bit of paint. A little touch-up paint here and there. But it really looks pretty decent. This was all gunked full of stuff. That's all clean. I noticed that there was a plug disconnected over here. Where is it? Right here. I wonder what that goes to. So we're gonna let that dry and then pull it into the shop and we'll start checking everything over. Alright, it's the next day after the wash. This thing's looking a lot better than it was. No more dirt anywhere. And I cleaned the inside of the cab really well. Wiped it all down. So as you can see, everything looks pretty much brand new. Cleaned all the glass. This is just plastic back here. This is glass. But yeah, the seat looks really nice. Floor looks good. Wiped everything down. So what we're gonna do now is take this thing for a little test drive. I noticed it was blowing some white smoke. Let's start this thing up and see if it's still doing that. It could have just been from sitting. Maybe water got in the exhaust. But yeah, let's fire this thing up and see if it moves here. We rode it onto the trailer. It just felt kind of sluggish to me. Not too bad right now. You can see some smoke coming out of there, but not an unusual amount. Alright, let's take this thing for a little test drive. Hear that squeaking sound? I think that's the belt. Yeah, that belt is squeaking. Alright, first thing we're going to do is try to fix that squeaky belt. Alright, so top speed in this thing is only about 25 miles an hour, so they're pretty slow, but they're supposed to be pretty torquey. Fire this thing up. Put it in high. Alright, seems to be running okay. I don't think it goes full speed though. It's supposed to go about 25. I'd say it probably goes about 15. And uphill, it seems like it's struggling a little bit. I looked up videos on this thing, and I guess they do struggle a little bit uphill and then puff out a lot of black smoke when going uphill, and it was doing that. So, maybe it's alright. I do hear the radiator like boiling here. Can you hear that? Sounds like the radiator's boiling. So that's getting hot. I don't know if that fan's working. Alright, this light popped on right here. I'm guessing that's oil. The temp light does not work either. So we might be overheating here. We're gonna go look up and see what that means. But yeah, the temp gauge doesn't help at all. Yeah, that fan's coming on. So fan is working. Alright, so the radiator fan right down here is turning on. Yeah, I can hear that coolant boiling in there though. So it's getting hot for some reason. Let's get this in the shop and start working on it. It probably desperately needs an oil change. Alright, right in here is the engine oil. Ooh, is that black? Ooh, that's really black. So it should be between the dot there and the dot there. Let's see what we get. Now we're a little high on the oil there. So it should be right in here. So it doesn't smell like diesel. So it actually doesn't look too bad, just a little dark. And the fill cap is going to be right here. I'm guessing this is just really, really dirty because the machine was absolutely filthy. So let's take a look. This could be why it's underpowered. Yeah, look at all the sand coming out of there. See if anything comes up. Oh, geez. Yeah. Look at this. See all that sand coming out? Yeah, that's a lot of dirt in there. Wow. All right. Looking in there. Ooh, is that dusty? We're gonna clean this out and put a new air filter in there right away. It's really dirty. And then we're gonna go blow this out too. This is the inner piece that was in there. That goes right in there like that. Piece on the inside was actually pretty clean. So I don't think we were getting a ton of dirt in there. But we'll put a new filter in anyway. That goes on just like that. There we go. That's all good to go. All right, coming in here, if you guys remember, that light was on. You can kind of see it right here. It's no longer on, but that is the oil pressure light right there. That means the oil pressure dropped below a certain amount and that turned on. So I was looking up information on this, and I guess the oil pressure sensor is below the alternator right here, and that triggers that switch to turn on if it's working. So coming down here, let's see, it should be a blue and yellow wire, it said. So there's a switch there. I don't think that's it. It said underneath the alternator. Oh, there's one. Right there. I think that's it. There's nothing connected to it. What the heck? Look at that. There's no wire connected to it. It should have a blue and yellow wire connecting that switch. And then coming up here, it looks like there's a bunch of tape together. I wonder if the wire is underneath there. I think what happened was he was bypassing the fan switch, is my guess. Is there a blue and yellow wire here? I don't see anything. What's this whole thing? We're gonna unwrap that, see what's underneath there. Remember, we have this one that didn't have anything to go to. And the gauge isn't working. The temp gauge, which I believe is this wire here. So for some reason that's not working either. So I wonder if he tied into that and it's just not working. But yeah, it's completely missing that wire down there. You can go ahead and unwrap all this tape, just see what's going on. Yeah, it's got a switch here. So two switches there. One is yellow, red, and then green and red. And this is all taped up here as well. Let's see what's going on. As you can see, lots of tape. Okay, so we've got blue going to there, white coming into there. See if there's anything underneath there too. Looks like he had this apart. This is correct. So we've got the pink wire going to this temp sensor here for the coolant. That should be over to the sensor here. When we first got the machine, it was right here. The yellow and white one, that looks like it was burnt up a little bit, that goes to this switch here, you can see. So the pink goes to there, white and yellow goes to this switch, and then the blue goes down to the oil pressure sensor. So we have that on correctly now. So we're gonna switch everything over and then we're gonna run it and see if that pressure sensor light comes on. All right, check this out. Our temp gauge is now working. Cool, so we fixed that. All gauges are working, no lights coming on. So that was that fix, that's good. So we fixed that problem. So now we're gonna get a zip tie on all these wires, get those buttoned up, and we should be good there. So now we know the temperature of the machine. That is awesome. So that wire there, pink wire going to that sensor, and then blue down to the oil pressure sensor. So everything should be buttoned up now. Let's go ahead and check the fuses next. We take off this panel here, and the fuses should be right here. Let's quick check all those. All right, get this fuse box cap off here. There we go. There's a bunch of them in there. We're gonna go through each one and see if they're good. All right, if we hear a beep, we should be good. Let's see what we get. Good. 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 So all the fuses are good. Perfect. All right, we can get the cap back on. So I think we fixed our issue there. So now we have to deal with the overheating. So I think what was happening is coolant was getting so hot that it triggered the blue wire here that we now have down to the oil pressure sensor. It was triggering the blue one because the blue one was up to the temperature sensor, so it was triggering that when really it should have been triggering the temperature. So I think the coolant is getting hot and it's overheating, which we could hear from the radiator. It was boiling. All right, coming inside the cab here, the seat folds up. This piece comes up like that. Your seatbelt out of the way, and then you can see the coolant is right there where we fill it up. So let's open that up. Probably gonna be hot. Don't spray everywhere. Ooh, it's really low. Looks to be really low. All right, that might be the problem. So let's go ahead and pour some in there, and then we'll turn this thing over. We'll see if that fixes our problem. That could just be why it was boiling. There's not enough coolant in there. We're extremely low. Air cap back on. Try to fire this thing back up. If we see a bunch of white smoke, that's not going to be good. And then we'll take the cap back off, rotate the engine over, and if it just pukes out of the radiator, we know we have a head gasket issue. All right, crank it over. Yeah, puking out the white smoke. Uh-oh. I think we have a head gasket problem. Temperature's climbing quick too. Yeah, it's puking out. Oh boy. Alright. it's puking out the white smoke. You can hear the radiator too. So let's go ahead, take that cap back off, rotate the engine over. My guess is it's going to be puking out that coolant. Yeah, it looks pretty milky in there. Let's see what happens here. Yep, that would be the problem. Great. So head gasket. 100% the problem. That is not good. Let's do it one more time so you guys can see what's going on. Check this out. Just puking all over the place. So, definitely a head gasket issue.
That's a lot of white smoke. Yeah, that's not good.
Wow, it's just dumping out that white smoke. It is really bad. It's burning off a ton of coolant. So best case scenario, we have a blown head gasket. Worst case scenario, we have either a cracked head or a cracked cylinder. And that would mean that the whole engine would have to come out. So that would really suck. We're hoping we can get away with just replacing the head gasket, and that will be our fix, but it could be really bad. It could be a huge money pit. So there's no way the seller who dropped it off at the auction site didn't know it was a blown head gasket. I mean, it was just dumping out the white smoke. He burned off all the coolant that was in the radiator. So when I started it up, I saw a little white smoke and that cleared up. And I was like, okay, you know, no issues. But the radiator was completely empty. We filled that back up, it was just dumping out white smoke. So either the seller was lying or the auction site was with their description, because they said it ran and drove, and that was it on the auction site. So I thought I was getting a good deal, but yeah, this machine has a bad head gasket for sure. Possibly more damage. So yeah, that's a big bummer. So what we're gonna have to do is tear into the engine, which is fine because I've never worked on a diesel engine before, so it'll be a learning experience for both of us. So we're gonna start tearing into it, see if we can get down to that head gasket and see if that was our problem. This should be pretty fun. So let's get this bed off of here first and we'll start tearing into it. I'm excited to see what's going on. All right, we've got the bed raised up here. We've got wood supporting it just in case the hydraulics fail. That will prevent us from getting crushed. But I think there's enough room in here to actually work. We don't even have to take off the bed, so that's pretty nice. So I think the first thing we're gonna do is disconnect some of the wires here that are going to the engine. So the white one go into there, take off. You can take off the hose here. And then we can start taking off these cooling lines here. And basically what we're gonna be doing is getting to the head gasket. So the whole head has to come off. All right, we got the air filter hose off there, coolant line hose off of here, and the other one off of there, along with the wires off of everything over here. And then we got this off of right here. Now there's a little ground, it looks like, going to the glow plugs right there. So we can get that off, and then we can start taking off these lines here. So these are for the injectors. Little plate comes up. I believe each one of these lines is going to be 17 millimeter. Gotta get to these down here. This first line. There we go. Get that line out of the way. All right, let's go ahead and remove the valve cover. Ooh. That is pretty nasty. What in the world? Look at that. That is some nasty stuff. Almost looks like grease. Not seeing anything too out of the ordinary in here. So when we take these out, we have to make sure that we put the push rods in the correct sequence so we know where to put those back in. Otherwise the valve clearance can be really far off. We're not on there very tight. Alright, take this off. Careful not to drop anything. Alright, so this is our number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you want to take these caps off as well in a second here. So we'll start with the 1 here. Take that one off. This is number 2 coming out. Number 3. 4. 5. And then 6. They're all out. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these caps. Number 1 coming out. And these number 2 shim. Number 3. number 4, 5, 6. Alright, so all the push rods are out, all the little shims are out. It smells really burnt in here. So hopefully it's not more than a head gasket problem. At least there's oil up here, it's just really, really thickened. Looks really bad. Make sure all these valves are pushing down. Yep, up here are the rockers. Those are all moving. You've got your little shims here. We're gonna label those. And then we've got our push rods here all labeled. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same with the little shims. All right, let's try to get the exhaust off next. So they're on there pretty tight. Alright, exhaust is off. That one came off easy. Not too bad. Let's see if these are different sizes. Same so far. Yeah, I think they're all the same. Cool. All right, will this come loose now? Oh yeah. Oh, look at all that coolant in there. Holy cow. Wow. You guys see all the coolant coming out? That's an insane amount of coolant. This should lift right up. It's gonna go all over the place. Oh, okay, there's a spring here holding that on. So see the spring right there? That was connected to the bottom hole right down there. So we had to get that out. Let's see. Wow. Holy. That's a lot of coolant. There's the head gasket. So what we're gonna do is let these soak up. We'll come back and see if there's any cracks in the cylinder or any cracks in the head. And we'll check out this head gasket here, which I'm guessing was the failure, hopefully. There that is. Yeah, it looks pretty worn out, doesn't it? Alright, looking at the cylinders, they look really good. No scratches whatsoever on the cylinders, and I don't see any cracks, at least on the first two here. So absolutely zero scratches, can't get my fingernail in any light scratch even, so looks really good. And we were just looking for some cracking. There's nothing. Alright, last cylinder. Take a peek in there. Alright, no scratches. Yeah, no cracking at all. Looks perfect in there. So, all cylinders check out, that's good. So at least we don't have to take the engine out right now. That's great. Alright, here is the head. So far it's looking pretty decent. Little carbon built up here. Nothing too crazy. See if that scrapes off with a razor blade. Oh yeah, it scrapes right off of there. And we can see the valves. See what those look like. Oh, those look pretty darn good. Oh yeah, seats look good. Just looking through to the seat there. Everything's looking pretty darn good. I'm not seeing any pitting. Yeah, there's not a ton of carbon built up anywhere. Valves don't have a ridge on them. That one's got a little bit more carbon. Yeah. I don't look too bad. Alright, we've got the straight edge here. Just holding it up here. And I'm not seeing much clearance between there. Just a tiny, tiny gap right in the center there. But I took my feeler gauge, smallest setting here, and I can't even get that in at all. So I checked all around the head here, and it's flat. It's definitely flat. And you're gonna have a little bit of play with that thicker gasket too. Yeah, that looks really good. So head does not appear to be warped. All right, back to the top of the head. Just looking for any cracks that could have formed. And I'm not seeing anything. I mean, you'd be able to see it pretty darn good. It'd be a pretty decent sized crack. But you can see the oil, how that like jellied up. I think that's from mixing with the coolant. Turned into like a jelly. So coolant and oil mixed to make that, I'm guessing. But yeah, I'm guessing that's how the whole engine looks on the inside, so it's obviously going to need an oil change. Well, this is what your head gasket looks like after 5,000 hours, or close to 5,000 hours. So I think this is what failed. You can see, I think right through here is where it wore off and coolant was seeping in. You can see it's burnt up right here, and right here. So coolant was getting by here and here. So what we're going to do is order up a new head gasket, and hopefully that fixes our problem. I'm guessing it just failed because it has so many hours on it, and this is broken off too. Alright, while I was in here I saw that there's a big crack right here. This is when you shift it. I think that broke off at some point. It looks like somebody had gasket maker underneath there trying to repair it. Probably thinking it was leaking from there, but there was probably a hairline crack and that got worse over time. But there's a big crack in that. Yeah, it's all the way through. So we're going to take that off and see if we can find a part for that or have it welded up. So let's go ahead and take that unit off of there. Hopefully it's easy to replace. Crack these free. See if that'll lift up out of there. Oh yeah, it's like in 2 pieces. That's not good. Wow. There we go. So this piece goes in here. This one goes around there like that. Yeah, that whole casing's cracked. Alright, looking down in there, you can see, so this is what moves right here. Pushes that way, pushes that way. That all looks good in there, all the gears appear to be good. I think it was just that plate that cracked. And you can see all the gasket maker around it, so I think they had problems with this before. Alright, and here is the broken piece. You can see it just broke right like that. I'm guessing at one point it wasn't shifting, and they just cranked on it, and it was just too much for that. Or the bolts came loose here, and then they cranked on it. 'Cause that's smooth in there. So I think we're gonna have to look for a new casing. We can swap all the parts over. Yeah, that comes out. So add that to the list. Well, that pretty much wraps up the video for the 2007 Kubota RTV 900. So next video we will have the head gasket ordered, and we're gonna either have this piece replaced or fixed. It depends on if it's available or not for these machines. And we'll put everything back together, and we'll see if that fixes our bogging problem, our low power problem, and our blowing out white smoke problem. Also was overheating as well. So hopefully the head gasket fixes all those issues, and we can have a good running driving machine after that. And then I want to get this thing painted up right. Want the bed painted, a couple other rusty spots painted on it. The cab is all cleaned up, ready to go. So that's all done. We got the gauges working this video as well, so those are all good. Every gauge works now. And then we're gonna take a look at the heater as well and see if that's working. I don't think it is, so we might replace the heater core in there and see if we can get that to work before winter as well. So a couple more things we have to do yet to get this thing perfect, but it is very, very close to being a running, driving machine in working order. Hopefully you guys enjoyed picking this one up from the auction for 3,500 bucks, diagnosing it, digging into it, and working on our first diesel machine here. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video, and until next time, we are out.